I don't know what to say.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'll be bringing day 3 after marrying somebody.
Whoa! Don't put that on the camera.
This is a story about a parent who faced a terrible outcome while trying to help their child get back on the right path. 2 teenagers' actions resulted in the tragic death of one of their fathers. Before we begin, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families affected by the disturbing actions of these 2 teens. Now, let's delve into the case. Today, we'll talk about the brutal murder of Daniel Halsett. On the evening of April 9th, 2021, 45-year-old Daniel was found dead in the garage of his Nevada apartment. But before we discuss that, let's take a moment to learn about Daniel. Daniel, born in Estacada, Oregon, came from a long line of Oregonians, and his family were early settlers in the state. He earned a music degree at Western Oregon University, where he was known as Drummer Dan. In addition to music, he also obtained a business degree from Corbyn University in Salem. Active on social media, Daniel had over 20,000 followers on Instagram. Describing himself as an entrepreneur, his posts revealed various interests beyond business. Most of Daniel's Instagram posts were pictures he took while traveling. He captured beautiful landscapes, sunsets, and anything that looked nice. According to his aunt, Daniel was really good at taking pictures, and he also dabbled in music. It seemed like he was good at everything. His latest picture was taken from a plane, showing Las Vegas from above. It looked like he was coming back to Los Angeles after a trip. It seemed he visited Providence, Rhode Island, Oakland, California, and Boston, Massachusetts, taking pictures of historical monuments and tourist attractions in each state. This last post, the one from the plane, was uploaded just 2 days before the police found his almost cremated body in his garage. Apart from Instagram, Daniel also had a YouTube page where he posted videos of hiking in the Bay Area. He enjoyed spending time in nature and used to do it with his daughter, Sierra. She was into it at first, but as she got older, her priorities changed. Daniel had been married to a woman named Elizabeth, who became the youngest woman elected to the Nevada State Senate in 2010 at the age of 27. They got married in March 2001 and divorced 10 years later in 2011. They had 3 children together, each 1 year older than the other, with Sierra being the youngest. On the day Daniel died, his mom tried to reach him for over 2 days but couldn't. They usually talked every day, so this was strange. Daniel's mom called Sierra, his 16-year-old daughter, who said his phone was broken. The next day, there was still no word from Daniel. His mom called Sierra again, insisting to talk to Daniel. Sierra claimed he was in the shower. When threatened with calling the police, Sierra hung up. Shortly after, surveillance footage showed a car like Daniel's leaving the area. His mom called the landlord, who couldn't go immediately but promised to check on Daniel later. After a few hours, the landlord and a friend went to Daniel's house. They saw flames, so they called the fire department. The firefighters put out the fire and found something shocking: a dead body in the garage, not what they expected from a small house fire. The person who called was with the homeowner who didn't live there. Daniel Halsett's almost burned body was discovered in the garage, prompting a call to the police. An investigation immediately began to determine the cause of his death. During a search of the home, the police found items that provided insights into the murder. Among the findings were a bottle of lighter fluid, a chainsaw, a circular saw, and a handsaw, all with apparent traces of blood and human tissue. It was evident that these tools had been used unsuccessfully in an attempt to dismember Daniel. Additionally, 2 pocket knives and a package of spare blades were found, showing signs of blood that had been cleaned off. The police revealed that an extensive effort had been made to eliminate any evidence and bloodstains, particularly around the area where the pocket knife was discovered. Daniel Halsett had died from multiple stab wounds to his chest, neck, and back. After the failed attempt to dismember the body, the murderer decided to start a fire in the house to cover up the crime. The motive behind the murder remained unclear, raising questions about who would harm such a well-liked and talented man. The story also hinted at the involvement of teenagers mentioned earlier. So, grab your cup of coffee and some snacks because this is about to be a wild ride. The setting for our narrative is Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh yes, the place where you go to escape monotony, the place where you feel like you've broken free from the chains of society, where you can have fun and no one bats an eye. Fun fact: did you know that over 41 million people visit Las Vegas each year? Now that's what we call a popular destination. But this city is not about just having fun. Horrible things happen here too, just like what happened to Daniel Halsett. It all started with the relationship between Aaron Guerrero, who was 18 at the time, and Sierra Halsett, yes, Daniel's 16-year-old daughter. The couple was madly in love, and that's the right word, mad, if you're going to commit such a gruesome act. The two were suffering some major challenges in their relationship. According to Aaron's mother, they started dating in June 2020. The two didn't see their future without each other. They were convinced that they would spend the rest of their lives together, and they would do anything to not let anyone break them up. Aaron's parents informed the cops that their son and Sierra planned on running away together. Aaron allegedly told his parents that the pair decided on Los Angeles as their destination. Of course, when your kid tells you that he's going to run away with his underage girlfriend, you're not really on board with this idea. His parents, understandably concerned about their son's intentions, contacted the parents of his 16-year-old girlfriend. Both families came to an agreement that the two should no longer communicate with one another. They thought it was best for both of their kids to take a break and figure out things on their own. Of course, this was exactly what Aaron and Sierra didn't want, and that's the moment when they started scheming and thinking of ways of staying together despite their parents' desires. According to Aaron's parents, after hearing he would not be allowed to see Sierra ever again, he started arguing with them on a daily basis. He was outraged by their decision and threatened them by saying that he would run away from home. The Guerreros were shocked after hearing those words come out of their child's mouth. But his parents weren't the only ones struggling after taking the decision to keep the teens apart. According to the ex-wife of Daniel Halsett, he too was having difficulties with his daughter. Seemingly, the two got along great, but after Aaron stepped into the picture, his little girl started to change. She didn't care about anything anymore, and she would only think of her boyfriend. You can say that she was madly in love. The dad and daughter had problems because of the daughter's relationship with a guy named Aaron. The dad, Lieutenant Ray Spencer, didn't want his teenage daughter Sierra to date Aaron. Sierra posted song lyrics on Instagram expressing how she felt when her dad forbid her from seeing Aaron. She felt heartbroken and upset. On March 21st, Sierra's dad, Daniel, posted pictures on Facebook saying he loves Sierra and they'll overcome everything together. In April 2021, Daniel shared more old pictures and videos of his kids, reminiscing about simpler times. This might be because he and Sierra had arguments about her boyfriend, Aaron. Daniel wanted to protect Sierra, thinking it was best for her to spend time with family. In a video with Sierra, Daniel shows love and support. He reminisces about her childhood, trying to connect with her. He loves her and is there for her, sharing videos to speak her language and show support. Videos showed both of them having a great time, which was completely different from what was really happening. Later, when she was really mad at him, the teenagers couldn't agree with their family's decision to keep them apart. So, they decided to take matters into their own hands. Aaron and Sierra, who had been dating for a few months, started making plans. Instead of letting their parents control their lives, they thought about running away together. To do that, they needed money, and their first idea was to steal from their parents and escape to Los Angeles before their families found out. These plans added an interesting twist to the story and gave a possible reason for Daniel's murder. On April 9th, Aaron killed Sierra's father Daniel in a brutal way. Sierra supposedly helped him, but the details are unclear. Further investigation revealed that Daniel had multiple wounds, was stabbed about 70 times, put in a sleeping bag, and set on fire. His almost completely burned body was discovered later. Footage from that night showed the couple driving away from Sierra's house in her father's car. Detectives also found video from a hardware store where Aaron bought a saw, lighter fluid, and plastic gloves. Sierra was seen buying bleach from a grocery store to clean any evidence that could point to them. Daniel's ex-wife, who said they were still friends after their divorce, mentioned that they shared a bank account. They used it to handle joint debts or bills. On April 8th, she noticed some strange withdrawals, more than $1,300, from their account. She tried calling Daniel, but couldn't reach him, probably because he had already passed away. A few days later, Aaron and Sierra were arrested in Salt Lake City, Utah, after leaving the state. They had enough money from using her father's credit card, but the police were already on their trail. Officers in Utah encountered them on a train at the 900 South Station. When asked for his ticket, Aaron admitted he didn't have one. A background check revealed they were wanted in Las Vegas. Despite trying to cover their tracks, the two left behind evidence that raised police suspicions. Following clues like receipts and surveillance tapes, the police found a crucial piece of evidence on their phones after taking them into custody. This evidence played a decisive role in connecting all the dots in the murder case of Daniel Halsett. The police saw a video of two kids, Aaron and Sierra, on the bed. They made the video 3 days after Sierra's dad died. The video is very scary, but not because it shows any bad pictures. No, it is very scary because of what they said and how they did it. They did not feel sorry at all. But let me tell you what happened. The video begins with the two teens hugging. They look like they are happy. Then Aaron talks. He says hello to the people watching their YouTube channel. He is joking, but then things get bad. He smiles and says he does not feel sorry for killing someone. He does not say who. Sierra laughs and looks shy. She says he should not say that on camera, but it is too late. The phone already heard what he said. They did not know that the police will use that to catch them. Then Aaron says he is glad he did it. He kisses his girlfriend on the head. They look happy about what they did. Then Aaron pretends to choke Sierra. He puts his hand on her neck. Then he hits her face gently. It looks like they're having fun, but it is clear that he can hurt her too. He can hurt his 16-year-old girlfriend if he wants to. They killed the father of the girl so that they could be together. Sierra, the girl, seems pleased with the situation. The motive for the murder appears to be related to money, not just the fact that they couldn't be together. The two kids were not allowed to be together, and that was enough for them to take a life in cold blood. The initial plan, even before the murder, was to rob her dad to fund their trip to LA. It seems that the killing was not planned from the beginning. Their main concern was to find money so that they could flee. As an adult, you might think that this reason is simply idiotic. If you were a parent of a teenage daughter and you found out that she and her boyfriend are planning to rob you and then run off together, you might think that the relationship was a bad influence. Sierra and Aaron planned something for a while, but we don't know exactly how long. However, there's evidence from surveillance footage showing them buying things for the crime, suggesting they planned it. The teenagers are not just facing murder charges, they're also accused of planning, setting fires, stealing, and misusing a credit card. They're in custody without bail. The legal representatives for both haven't commented yet. Prosecutors are thinking about asking for the death penalty for Aaron Guerrero. Sierra is a minor, so she can't get the death penalty, but she'll still be treated as an adult. In addition to the sad news of his death, the obituary highlighted that Daniel always had a big, sincere smile and loved helping people. It also mentioned that he lived by the motto, "Always stop and smell the roses." The obituary said that Daniel, a person who recently passed away, will be remembered for his two loving children. Unfortunately, it didn't mention that his third child, Sierra, was involved in his murder. this wasn't the first time Daniel had made the news. In October 2011, right after his first divorce, he faced charges of coercion and battery. Daniel received a 6-month probation and attended anger management classes. Despite this rough patch, he worked on changing his life. He wanted to reconcile with his ex-wife and even became good friends with her, sharing a joint bank account. It's important to understand that parents will go to great lengths to protect their children, and they deserve respect and love. However, not all cases reflect this, as discussed on Fear Files, where we explore instances of parents behaving badly. This particular case involves Daniel Halsett, who was murdered by Aaron Guerrero and his 16-year-old daughter Sierra Halsett because they didn't approve of his relationship.
Get ready to delve into the perplexing and haunting cold case of baby April solved after decades. It is the case of baby April, a name that sends shivers down our spines. What makes this case even more eerie and disturbing is the notion that baby April's background is almost entirely unknown. The name Baby April was simply a moniker given by investigators to a small full-term baby girl found lifeless in Moline, Illinois. The discovery took place on a fateful day, April 11, 1992. An unsuspecting man was taking a leisurely walk with his dog along the tranquil bank of the Mississippi River, just off 17th Street in Moline. Little did he know that he was about to stumble upon something that would forever haunt him. As he made his way along the river's edge, his eyes caught sight of something peculiar, a black plastic garbage bag floating ominously in the water. Intrigued and unsettled, he called 911 to report the bizarre object he had encountered. Soon the reality of the scene unfolded. Law enforcement officers rushed to the bank of the Mississippi River, carefully retrieving the suspicious bag. With a sense of trepidation, they opened it, revealing the lifeless body of a baby girl, a heart-wrenching sight that would forever scar their memories. The coroner from Rock Island County performed an autopsy, determining that baby April had tragically succumbed to suffocation, asphyxiation, and hypothermia. As the investigation into this gruesome and deeply disturbing murder case began, authorities faced an immediate challenge. There were essentially no leads to work with. Scant clues and information hindered their progress, making it nearly impossible to create a profile of the baby's killer. The only trace they had was an unknown woman's DNA found at the crime scene. Despite their efforts, investigators were unable to match this DNA to anyone in their extensive databases. The year 1992 passed without any leads or arrests related to baby April's murder. The case seemed to slip through the cracks of the justice system, leaving investigators and the community grappling with the unsettling truth. The answers they desperately sought were likely held by baby April's family. However, one major obstacle stood in their way. No one knew where baby April had come from, and the identity of the person who had callously abandoned her remained a chilling mystery. With no leads to pursue, the case turned bitterly cold, and baby April's shocking and heartbreaking story faded from public consciousness. For 22 long years, the investigation into baby April's murder seemed destined to remain unresolved, a tragic tale consigned to the annals of cold cases. But then, in 2014, a glimmer of hope emerged, a breakthrough that would reignite the flames of justice. An exceptional woman named Cece Moore entered the scene. Her expertise lay in genetic genealogy testing, specializing in creating easily identifiable family trees for those yearning to discover their ancestral roots. Over time, Moore's work evolved, focusing specifically on helping adoptees and individuals with unknown parentage find their long-lost family members. It was during this period that Moore and her team made a remarkable decision: to apply their tools and techniques to assist law enforcement agencies in solving cases, including the perplexing murder of baby April. Their dedication and persistence paid off. Through meticulous DNA analysis and matching, investigators were able to locate several individuals who shared striking similarities with baby April's genetic profile. Further narrowing down the search, they found a sample taken from the crime scene that perfectly matched one immediate family member. This crucial lead led them straight to Angela Renee Siebke, a resident of Orion, Illinois at the same time baby April's lifeless body was discovered. In December of 2014, a breakthrough moment arrived. Angela Renee Siebke was officially identified as baby April's mother, and an arrest warrant was promptly issued for her involvement in the infant's murder. The nature of the crime and its sheer horror justified an unusually high bond of $1 million, an indication of the severity and brutality that unfolded on that fateful day in 1992. And so, the case of baby April began its long journey towards justice.